Okay, here we go. Hola, welcome aboard to Good Chats for Wednesday night again. I made it in on time this time, or just about anyway. So hopefully the microphone's on. Hopefully you can all see me. Hopefully I haven't completely messed up the settings since last week's adventure with live streaming everybody on board the old Red Hen from Bridgewater to Adelaide. So g'day Noel, welcome aboard. G'day Ree, welcome aboard. G'day Steve, Aussie Colonel, thanks for coming on board, mate. And JK, the producer, check 1 2, check 1 2. Hi Andy, how are you? Welcome aboard. What's everyone been up to? Let me know. Andy did a great video the other week. Congrats on that video, man. It was a long video, but you're a natural with this. You kind of carry it through, mate. So go check out Andy's channel where he went around all of the York Peninsula football ovals. There's some really interesting history and stuff to see there. What have I been up to this week? Well, Fringe is on in Adelaide, and despite my best efforts this year to not go to any Fringe shows, if you know me, I've got a varied history in things, and I spent a few years actually going and reviewing quite a few Fringe shows. So there'd be some Fringe seasons where I'd have 20 odd shows to go to and write reviews for, and this year I'm kind of trying to stay away from it, but I still managed to get myself roped into 3 shows. So I went to a late night comedy show last night. We're going to go see Shit-Faced Shakespeare in a couple of weeks' time, and then I have the Anthems party on the Friday night coming up on the 8th of March, Friday 8th of March. That's going to be a fun one, going back to the old school. And yeah, I don't know, where's it all going, what's happening? And I want to talk a bit about my research. I've got a couple of vids to talk about as well. I'm going to run through a bit of a train spotting video, which is basically the video that is a long form video that I did for my live stream from Blair Railway Station, where I was also taking 4K video at the same time. Some people might like the audio on that one. I was going to talk about Radium Hill as well. I had an interesting chat with the president of the Historical Society of that old uranium mine out near Broken Hill, so an update on that one. I did learn some things thanks to O'Malley this week about the Rosewater Loop, or things that I already knew were confirmed. Might turn around and have a look for a book of the week this week as well, and we'll go from there. So who knows how long it's going to be tonight. There's 8 people on board so far tonight, back in the studio, so we're not on board a train or anything here tonight. So if you haven't already chimed into the chat, then let us know that you're here and where you're from, and what's been going on in your neck of the woods lately. The plant is really good. The plant gets the live stream actually reminds me to go and water the plant, and so it gets watered every Wednesday night at about 8:10 that I'm here anyway. Can you believe that plant, right? I gotta point that way because it's mirrored. That plant has been live online every week for the last 2 years. So you could probably go back to previous Good Chats, right, and check out the health of the plant then, and we could do some comparisons on how good is the Good Chats plant looking tonight. That would be a fun little exercise. Still a bit warm here in Adelaide, you know, it's still just sort of staying around that humid 30-degree mark. Been some cooler evenings, but yeah, I think we're headed for a bit of a warm and maybe a bit of a humid March as well. But we'll see how we go. Right, without further ado, I'm going to cue up this Blair video. It was a bit sick a few months ago. It's coming good now. Oh, g'day, Dave. Welcome aboard. I'm Mike. Thank you for your compliments there. So we're just going to queue up something. This was some video that small parts of were used in the video, right? So here we are at Blair Station. Hopefully the audio is working on that one for everybody. Just checking that. Yeah, that's pretty good. So while I was live streaming from Blair, when I was getting some footage for this video about 4 or 5 weeks ago now, I also had another camera, 4K camera running while I was there. 4K camera running while I was there. 4K camera running. Whoops, turn that down. G'day, Hookstagram. Welcome aboard. Thanks for joining us. So what we're looking at now is Blair Railway Station, and we are waiting for the Great Southern to arrive. I think I might just fast forward that shit a little bit until there's an actual train coming. This is a freight train that was waiting in the loop for the Great Southern to pass, and so once the Great Southern has passed, we will then get the sound of those two locomotives firing up. I'm just skipping through here, sorry. I didn't really want to watch 2 minutes of nothing happening, did you? Until we can get to the point where this train is coming through. Here it comes. I've been to Balhana Railway Station. Yeah, I've been to Balhana Railway Station a few times. One wonders which bit of the train the dog was trying to chase. When you see that dog run backwards and forwards. There he is again. So Noel, everybody on that train would have been headed back up to your way at some point or another, because the Great Southern runs from Adelaide to Brisbane via Coffs Harbour. Maybe one day that's how I'll get to Coffs Harbour, eh? Off to Brisbane. Lucky people. People into. Okay, we'll just fast forward now. And now that signal box, although now that train has been passed. Whoops. And I was just about to end the stream when I realised that this engine was notching up to take off. You can hear me doing the live stream in the background of this one. That's why I didn't use all of it in the video. Good question, Dave. I was going to end this video just a minute ago. Hands up if you like watching trains go past. I don't mind watching trains go past. It's not usually a train spotter. I just happen to be here when there's trains. You can tell the dog just loves it. Oh no, what did I do? Oh no, that's the beginning of the video again. Okay, fine. Let's go back to that then. So yeah, go up to Belair on Friday mornings. That's the time when all of the trains are going through, and so not long after that, another freight train came the opposite way along the line, and then another freight train passed that. So I think I ended up catching 4 trains as that. Yeah, I reckon AN or whoever's running the trains these days would be scratching together whatever engines just bloody work at the time where they're at, without much regard for the livery these days. Like most businesses, they're just trying to keep running on a bloody shoestring. I definitely won't be travelling as much. Great question, Andy. I definitely won't be travelling as much to do the live streams. Live streams in the dark start to get a little bit weird looking. There's not really any fully lit locations I can think of that I'll go to and do a live stream from. What I've found from doing these live streams, as it gets darker, it particularly sort of the camera struggles and everything really struggles with the bandwidth as well. So I think the season 4 outdoor broadcasts, OBs, so to speak, are kind of come to an end, and will be more back here in the study, or in the studio, as I like to call it, and delving into the videos more and delving into a bit more content. So if you follow this with the stream, which most of you guys do who are here right now, I talk about Radium Hill a lot and getting access to Radium Hill. And so I learned that back in 2018 there was a Today Tonight video, and I read that too. And essentially owners of the station that the site of Radium Hill is on, that site was leased from those owners of the station. At this particular point in time, I think it's now reverted to private property, and even some of the people who were born in Radium Hill are no longer welcome on that property. Nobody knows why. There's not really any answers other than get stuffed. You're not coming on my property, coming from the property owners. Now, the property owners seem to be quite cool with mining companies. I've read quite a bit about this, and there's a bit of mining exploration going on, ably assisted by the owners of the properties. So pretty sure that if the Historical Association, some of these people who were born there, or who had relatives buried there in the cemetery, if they had a few $1 million, they'd probably be able to get access, right? Now, I'm sure that there's 2 stations involved here. There's one station that you've got to go through to get off the Barrier Highway, and head a considerable distance south to get to the border of the other station. I won't name either of them at this point in time. I'm not interested in getting into that, but and crossing into that second station is basically off limits. So you can get close, but not close enough, unfortunately. And so I had a good chat with the president of the Radium Hill Historical Association. I reached out to them just to double check that there was perhaps no way to get access to it. And having a chat with Jimmy is his name. It really floored me that for virtually no particular reason, they won't even be let in to look after the site, to look after graves. I don't think they've been let in since 2018, or there was one journey where they went in there, where they enlisted, in the last 6 years or 7 years, there has been one where they had to enlist help of government people to get in there, and even then they were under pressure to leave as quickly as possible. So it's all rather messed up, and there's literally zero chance of getting to Radium Hill anytime soon. And the last thing I'd want to do is get access to Radium Hill if the people who were born there and have family who died there can't even get access to this old ghost town. So I'm going to cue up a quick little video on Radium Hill, which is from way back. This is, this might tell me what date it was, 1954. So I will just queue up the screen and do a share Chrome in OBS, and we'll go from there. Transition over, check the Chrome. There we go. Transition over to that. Hopefully the sound works on this one. We'll go from here.
Radium Hill, 75 miles from Broken Hill. Opened by Sir William Slim in 1954. Built to provide housing for workers fulfilling a 10-year...
There we go, sound works, that's cool.
But in 8 years, they had mined the ore. The train doesn't run anymore. Radium Hill is silent, except for the whistling of the wind. The mines, a mile and a half from the residential section, contain uranium nobody wants. 1,000 people lived and worked here, and then last January, Radium Hill was abandoned. The people took away their belongings, except those items as derelict.
Hopefully that helped.
Hill itself, and the town died. It was a modern town, a town with a swimming pool for relaxation in the hot sun at weekends, or after work in the mines. Now life has been swept from the town, and the houses are empty, locked, guarded against vandals. Radium Hill's population had its own water supply. The homes had sewerage. The people had radios and refrigerators.
Yeah, I picked up that little bit of echo. Sorry, man.
Now the 5 row homes are being sold for £300 each, and the buyer must cart them away. The jail has held its last prisoner, its last miner sleeping off a spree. On Sundays, the people of Radium Hill sang hymns in modern churches like this one. Today, it is silent. Instead of the sound of hymns and psalms, there is only the wind making eerie music through the broken windows. The schoolyard is empty. Everywhere there is evidence of the death of a town. The youngsters who attended school here have moved to other towns, and perhaps Radium Hill is already forgotten. But not by all. Those who loved the sunburned country in which it was set, and the teachers to whom for a few years this was home. Farewell, Radium Hill, a modern town, a town built to mine uranium, now a ghost town of the atomic age.
Okay, stop that, that's enough of that. Let's not invoke Clive Palmer. Oh my god. It's playing the next video and it's just blown up on my ear, sorry. Stop. Okay, it was a uranium mine in the late 50s until the mid 50s. I think it only lasted 8 years or something like that, late 40s till the mid 50s. And then it was, I think, just kind of unfashionable or something. I'm not entirely sure why the mining stopped. And so I was hoping to tell a story of uranium mining, early uranium mining, and how rail related to that, because that railway joined up with the Broken Hill line at Kutna. I thought it was called Kutana. I mispronounced it. There we go again. I was talking to Jimmy, the president, and he was like, yeah, it joined up at Kutna. So I can get to Kutna and have a look there. And then from there, the uranium was railed down to Port Pirie. And I think it was processed at Port Pirie. There was an old uranium processing plant at Port Pirie. And then it was shipped overseas. It's part of a station now, Andy. So there's two huge stations out that way, just south of Kootenay on the Barrier Highway. So yeah, these are huge bits of country. I also had a what I sort of knew and was hearing about with the Rosewater Loop, which runs through Pennington and whatnot in Adelaide. Just recently, O'Malley sent me a link from Port Adelaide Enfield Council, the biggest council on the planet, talking about their plans for that area there having to change because they're hearing top level reports from top level sort of strategies in government about reinstating that railway line to create that north-west link from the northern suburbs across to Osborne as part of the subs project and whatnot. It's they didn't rip Radium Hill up, Andy. They just left it there and just walked away. And as the video said, you know, you could buy a house there for £300 or whatever, but you had to cart it away. And if you've been out there, you'd kind of want to get paid to cart it away, because basically when you're out in the outback, like somewhere between Olery and Broken Hill, once you've dragged shit that far out into the middle of nowhere, it's never going back. Nobody's going to pay for that. So yeah, the Rosewater Loop looks set to be reinstated. Who knows how long that'll take or how much that'll cost. Radium Hill we can't get into. I'm working away on the Transport Action Network video. Oh, that's right, I was going to cue that up. I've got a little bit of a preview of that one, so I'll just tee that up in my little video box thing here. Some bit of hold music there. Okay, so this is real rough. This is a complete pivot for my channel. This is going to be a video about what the future holds rather than what's in the past. We'd like to ask you, should Adelaideans stay stuck in traffic, or can we have fast, smooth travel like so many cities around the world? Since the early 1990s, cities across Europe, Asia... It is a real shame, Andy, but the landholders won't let anyone on it. In fact, they've expressed a desire to have Radium Hill removed from Google Maps, so you can't even see it on Google Earth. They don't even that's how rabid they are, and they don't know how things really work these days. Stop at Adelaide Railway Station on the northern edge of the city. That's great if you're going to Adelaide Oval or if you're working on North Terrace, but it doesn't serve most of our CBD. Adelaide's only tram service runs through the CBD from Hindmarsh to Glenelg or through to the Botanic Gardens. It's a fantastic service if you're lucky enough to live or work along the line, but most people don't live anywhere near it. We have a brilliant busway running from Tea Tree Gully into the CBD, and it works so well because it runs alongside the River Torrens on its own. So again, this is really rough. This is me just sequencing things at the moment, just trying to get the whole 4 minutes of everything strung together to get a bit of a narrative happening, and then I'll smooth it out and make better graphics and make titles and all that stuff. But you just got to get timing right. You got nothing until you got something, right? Keswick Barracks can provide good examples of medium-density housing and business precincts. The inner metropolitan area is going to be home to many more people and businesses over the coming decades, and high-quality developments, places people want to live, work and recreate, need a high-quality public transport network. We can have a quality heavy rail, light rail and bus network in 3 well-planned stages. In stage 1, we can link the northern and southern rail lines by a tunnel. Nice one, Steve. People travelling on each of the rail lines can easily get to most places in the city. This underground link, what we're calling Adelaide Metro Link, allows people to transfer to all of the bus and tram services that run through the city. I don't have a job at the moment, so I don't have to catch public transport anyway, mate. Expanding the light rail along those routes that are already seeing a lot of development and demand. We can start the light rail expansion with... The only reason I catch public transport these days is because I might be filming that public transport. Perhaps along Keswick Creek into the CBD and then onto McGill. A city loop... Main shopping, business and entertainment areas of the CBD more easily. They can also hop on and off the rest of the light rail network. We'd like to ask you, should Adelaideans stay stuck in traffic? So there you go. That's where I'm at so far. I'm about 2 minutes into just there's a look behind the scenes, I guess, of what I do sometimes, most of the time with my videos, particularly with things like these where I've essentially been given a narrative and a bit of a brief, and I've worked out obviously that the voice narrative will take about 4 to 5 minutes, and so what I'm doing now is just getting video and plugging it in step by step. So when I reach a new part of the narration that says, yes, we're going to have a tram line out to Burnside, blah blah blah, then I've got to make sure that I time the animation or have perhaps some relevant footage as well to put in there at the time, because for me the narrative, the power of the voice, is what drives people through videos. The power of the music, the power of the voice, in case you didn't guess, that's what I've been focusing on lately. And yeah, it is you're right, Andy, it is for people working in the city, right? And if you, when I did work in the city, catching public transport into the city actually was a real pain, because I can drive into the outside of 8 a.m. to 9 a.m., right, peak hour, or 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Actually, peak hour in the afternoon is pretty good, but peak hour in the morning is terrible. I can get into the city before 8 or after 9 in about 15 minutes from where I'm at, sometimes 10. Now, if I go and catch a bus into town, that can take an hour and 10 minutes to cover the same distance. So what I really, what this is all about is starting to address that. Even as I go around trying to do these videos and trying to find traffic jams, it's actually really difficult to find traffic jams sometimes in Adelaide when you're bloody looking for one. But yeah, there you go. So we're working through it. I've got most of the elements now. Just a few more pieces that I need to know about exactly where the proposals are for the portals of the proposed underground tunnel, and where some of the stations might be as well, and try and do some graphics from that. We've got some great AI generated graphics from one of the guys in the Transport Action Network, which shows tram lines running along Fullerton Road and the like, and I'll be incorporating some of that. It's an exciting project, and means I have a completely different subject to work with, which means that, you know, the way I put it together is very much challenging me, and I absolutely love it. Yeah, and when you're down at Adelaide Railway Station, you can kind of see that it's basically set up to clear Adelaide Oval as quickly as possible, and that's essentially all it really serves, and that's about the only time that it's actually busy. So yeah, all right, now I'll go to book of the week. I'll see if I can find a random book. I started getting really sort of prescriptive with having to have a new book every week and stuff like that, and now I'm going to go back to my roots and just find a random book and find some random things to say about that. Yeah, you know it, Jeremy, Northeast Road, man. I often say to people that when I die and you get my ashes, then just scatter them on Northeast Road somewhere, because that's where I spent most of my life. Right, what have we got here? Well, this is not a very random book selection, is it? I'm going to go back to this one. The old Glenray Gold. If you feel that way inclined, go look up Glenray Gold on YouTube. There's essentially the guys who run the museum there at Glenray. They're now busy. If you follow them on Facebook too, they're constantly upgrading their track, and some stage in 2028 they might have upgraded enough track to actually run the train. However, when I was there last year, they very generously let me wander around on my own, and he gave me a copy of this book. Now, I can't quite remember who I was talking to off the top of my head. I know I talk to you all the time on Facebook and YouTube. I'm sorry, I just can't remember. But somebody's going up there this week, I think, or in the next couple of weeks. And so ask for a copy of the Glen Ray book if Graham, I think his name is, right off the top of my head, doesn't give it to you. But I wish that I'd gotten this before I made the video. But there were still a lot of good references here. You've got heaps of detail, like the actual tonnage of the freight in and out of the stations from Dorrigo, Glen Ray, North Grafton and Coffs Harbour. You've got some excellent mapping and the like. I wonder, Noel, if a copy of this book is actually available in the library. I don't see it has any of the regular sort of hallmarks of a book that might be in a library. I don't see any of the ISBNs or barcodes or any of that other stuff, and it was published by Glen Ray Mountain Railway Line, so I'm not really sure if it's a properly published book. But yeah, Glen Ray, the Railway Heritage, a huge resource. So, and thank you for sending me all those resources that you have been sending me as well, Noel. When the time comes, that will be an amazing resource. And I'm looking forward to learning more about what's there in the Coffs Harbour Library when I'm up there in a couple of weeks' time. Who knows, if I've got enough time, I may drop a random live stream from somewhere around Coffs Harbour again, so keep an eye out for that, but I'll update you obviously closer to the time. Right. Thank you everybody for joining me tonight. We're going to do the That's All, folks. So this is about the end of the stream for tonight. So we've made it half an hour or so. I've kept it pretty lively as well. Thank you to everybody who's come on board tonight. I value your contributions greatly. Please, as always, if you've got stuff that you've read on the internet or whatever, please forward a link to me either via Facebook or email or carrier pigeon or container ship or something. Might take a while, but yeah, send me suggestions for stuff to talk about or for stuff to dig into a little bit deeper. So I'll be working on this this Transport Action Network video for the next couple of weeks. Hopefully in the next week or two I can also get out and start to do some more work on the Glenelg to Merino line. Remind me, I've got a really interesting map to show you as well, which shows the course of that line, but also shows the course of the Glenelg to West Beach Railway, which ran along the foreshore where West Beach Caravan Park is these days. There's some heaps of info out there if you know where to look, and you do sometimes have to go out of your way to get it. Thank you everybody for coming on board tonight. That the name of that book again, Noel, is Glen Ray, the Railway Heritage, by Glen Ray Mountain Railway in 2004, if that helps you. And if you forget, I'll send you the link on Facebook or something like that. So thank you, Noel, for coming on board. Thank you, Ree, again, for coming on board. Steve Klink, sir, thank you. JK, thank you very much for coming on board again. Andy, always a pleasure to have you on board. Love your questions. Love your style as well on your channel. Go check it out. Thanks for joining us on Dave and for piping up. Thanks, Hookstagram, for hooking into the channel tonight. Really appreciate it. Now, if I've forgotten anybody else who's not here tonight or who checked in and checked out without piping up, I'm sorry. Thanks to all the replayers as well. If you've made it this far, I really appreciate it as well. Drop a comment, send me something on Facebook or whatever. Let's engage and keep this live stream rolling forever, basically. Thank you for joining me. We'll see you again next week at 8:15 p.m. And until then, peace.